The following content is sponsored and does not necessarily reflect the views of WATD Radio. Now, Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. Be a part of the show. Call or text 781-837-4900. Now, here's your host, Paul Solano.
Greetings, everyone. Thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. Again, welcome. My name is Paul Solano of PS&L Marketing Group, and as you probably already know, I also wear another hat as General Manager of Pearl Street Station Restaurant in Malden. Pearl Street Station was recently featured on America's Best Restaurants, an independent marketing firm from Kentucky. And one reason for this huge honor is because of Chef Felipe Fitzpatrick and his culinary team. Chef Felipe is a loyal listener through the Odyssey app. So hello to Chef Felipe. We have lots of stuff going on at Pearl Street Station today and tomorrow, and I know you're in the middle of prepping with Chef Joaquin and Reina for today's 3 events and a catering gig at the Winter Hill Yacht Club. So keep up the great work, and look forward to seeing you when I get back to the Malden area. And as I have continually stated over the past 21 shows, and can you believe this is show number 22, it's an absolute honor and pleasure to be on WATD in the slot of The Boiling Point with Arthur Boyle. And as always, I say, Arthur, it's great to have you as our executive consultant of Paul Ponders and WATD. And I know that you'll be filling in for me on May 17th. While I'm at my daughter's baby shower, daughter and daughter-in-law's baby shower. And that's going to be a great day for me, so I'm taking some time off, but I'll be listening in from Malden. And with us behind the glass is Tim. Tim, how are you?
Doing well, Paul. Another Saturday in Broadcast House.
You got to love it, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's become a way of life for 24 years, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Absolutely. Oh. And we were just sharing a quick story about calamities, if you will, at a Dunkin' Donuts drive-through or anything. What's the worst thing that ever happened to you in a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot?
Didn't get your money back. I don't know. Not really anything bad's ever happened in drive-through because I know how to behave myself. The best thing that happened one day, someone paid it forward. I pulled up to pay for my order, and they said the person in front of you paid. You're all set.
Wow,
like,
how cool.
I didn't ask for that. And every once in a while, I'll do it too, you know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's what Pay It Forward is all about. My worst calamity was that the lid was not attached properly.
You got to make sure it clicks on.
I know it. On the knee. Yep. Oh, boy. It was very, very hot. Mm-hmm. And just pulled right over. It's like, okay. Yeah. And is Dave Cedrone still behind the glass?
He's out. He's gone.
He's gone. He's down the road.
He'll be back in tomorrow, though, to give us what's going on around the South Shore and beyond.
Absolutely. To infinity and beyond.
Yes.
So that's awesome. And just to highlight some things that are coming up, our past guests, and hopefully we'll get them back on the air in the future, is Joey from the Neighborhood. But Joey Voices is at the Regent Theater tonight in Arlington, and the show is almost sold out. He and Mike Vasily in the Boston Comedy Show are going to be performing, and they have a great lineup, and tickets are still available. So if you want to hear Joey Voices in concert with Mike Vasily, it's going to be a great show, so you could check the Regent Theater. And I believe that Joey is going to be coming to the South Shore at a local nonprofit in the near future, so you want to check that out as well. And also, too, last week I announced that because of the weather, we decided ahead of time to, in fact, postpone the Pints on Pleasant Street beer garden in Malden. The Malden Chamber of Commerce, I'm on that committee. And we made the right decision, and we're hoping that on May 17th from 1 to 4, it will be sunny. And we're very fortunate to have Faces Brewing Company and also Idle Hands Brewing Company as the lead beer presenters. And we have lots of local vendors just showing their wares or just showing up with their trucks or their carts. And one of them is Rolling Cones So a nice shout out to my friend Nicole Wall and her very neat concept of the rolling cones, ice cream cones. So that's kind of cool. So that's coming up. And also, too, as I think I've mentioned in the past, we have a comedy night coming up, the Comedy Education Awards night coming up for the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame, Massachusetts chapter. And Dave Russo, who is on our board, comedian Dave Russo, and we'll be having him on in a week or two or three to promote the show, but just to maybe tell a few jokes. And he's part of the Russo on the Road, Dave Russo. And he's going to be working on this comedy show at Giggles on June 26th. Dave is on our board of the NIASH, and it's his annual event that he does for us. He gets a lot of great comedians, and we also give out education awards in the amount, I believe, this year. It's going to be $1,500 each to two deserving students who are going into college. So that's going to work out well. We'll hear more about the about nonprofits after our break. But first, it is now time, I believe, for the Pod Pro Entertainment Techie Toolbox segment with Techie Talonzo Amos and Ms. Shelley Wolf, global media firm owner of Toolbox Entertainment and a past Paul Ponders guest. Episode number 35. Shelley, are you on the line?
I am here, Paul. How are you all doing today?
I am doing well, thanks. Doing well. Are you in Philadelphia today?
I'm in Philadelphia, and can you believe it's actually sunny today?
I love it. It's sunny up here, so life is good in the hood, as they say, right?
That's right. That is exactly right.
Absolutely. So that's awesome. So, Shelley, I post on my PS&L Marketing Group blog your techie tips. I still have more to post this week, and I'll tell you, I am getting a lot of nice responses, replies, and I'm putting it on Facebook, and people are just so entertained and wowed with your techie tips. So I want to thank you for all the great work you do. It takes a lot of time, really, to research and really just to put it together. So I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely. No, it's my pleasure. I have a lot of fun with it, and a lot of it I use at my own job, so that also helps to spread the word. So I'm excited, and I'm excited for today's segment because today we're going to actually look at some creativity and joyful ways of how we can actually use our phones.
Okay. Well, fire away, as they say. Go for it. This is going to be interesting.
All right. Well, let's be honest. Most of us are glued to our phones to begin with. So as we scroll through social media, answer those emails, maybe play a game or two. But did you know that our phone is actually one of the most powerful creative tools we have of our own? So we're going to flip the script today, and we're going to look at thinking about fun, joyful, and creative ways to use our phone, whether we're looking to relax, explore a hobby, or just try something new. So as we begin to jump in, I just thought, let me just share a few statistics. Before we are always tapping, but not creating. Do you know that the average person spends more than 3 hours a day on the phone, mostly on autopilot, just browsing, watching, redirecting, reacting, scrolling? But we often don't use this creative potential that is at our hands and our fingertips every day. So instead of just consuming, I want us to begin to think about creating, reflecting, capturing, and connecting through our phones in meaningful ways. So one example I have is one of my favorite stories from a listener shared with us that they used their phone to start a daily gratitude journal in their Notes app. That 5-minute practice changed their mindset. They became the highlight of their day. And so I want to give some ideas of how to spark your own. So we're going to start with capturing life creatively. We're going to think about photography for fun. You don't need a fancy camera to take photos. You can use the one that you already have in your hands. So I'm going to throw out a photo challenge to people. Pick a theme, whether it's colors, faces, reflections. This is something I know I love doing. I love taking walks and being in nature, so I'm always looking for what jumps out at me. Is it a piece of nature? Is it a species? What is it? Is it a building that pops out? So thinking about what is it that grabs you? Take a picture of it that day and allow it to represent you. Some app suggestions to do that is Snapseed for photo editing, Lightroom Mobile for pro-level tweaks, or something called VSCO, VSCO, for filters, and it also has a community inspiration so you can post with other community members, but it also provides a video editor. And again, a pro tip, though, what I will use is that you have grids on your phone in those photo areas. That really will help you align and improve your composition and make your photos feel much more balanced. You could create a video diary, have a fun reel, or even a short film on your phone. You could use CapCut, which is great for TikToks and other reels. You could use InShot for creating music over text overlays, or even Adobe Premiere Rush. It's a little more advanced, but it's on your phone. Mm-hmm. That idea in mind, record a daily life video or create a cooking tutorial, document something that's really interesting to you. Another way is a creative expression without pressure. Again, digital journaling or voice memos. Not everyone likes to write, so using a voice memo app to talk through those thoughts, ideas, or even dreams is very therapeutic, and it might even surprise you what comes out. You can also use apps like Day One or Journey for guided journaling prompts or mood tracking. How many of us love to doodle on paper? Well, you can do that digitally as well. Even if you can't draw, there are apps that make it fun and very relaxing. You could try Procreate Pocket for your iPhone or Clip Studio Paint for your Android. There's Sketchbook for doodling, Happy to Color, or Lake for stress-free digital coloring. Create your own phone wallpaper or a digital thank you card for someone. Create with AI prompts. Try using AI to write something, create a fun story, make up a unique piece of digital art, or get inspired. You could use Wombo Dream AI art or ChatGPT and have them create a poem through your writing prompts. An idea is, and again, another challenge I'll challenge you with is write a bedtime story about a dog in space and watch what happens.
Right. Okay.
Connect Joy makes shareable playlists. Music lifts everyone's mood. Use something like a Spotify or Apple Music to create playlists with different moments. So like maybe a morning motivation piece or a rainy day reflection, dancing in the kitchen. You can even share them with your friends or make collaborative playlists. Create virtual time capsule. Gather photos, audio messages, and quotes that capture the season of your life. Store them in a private album or on a cloud folder. It's a beautiful way to reflect and document your life, just like a journal, but in a visual, interactive way that it meets you where you are. Video messages or mini podcasts. Use apps like Macropolo or WhatsApp video to send real-time video messages to friends or families. Make a personal text and make it fun to watch later. Try creating a mini podcast episode with Anchor or even Podbean and talk about your favorite books or memoirs or stories. Learn something new. It's just fun. It's skill-based apps. Duolingo, learn a language. Spend a couple of hours a week doing language, or a show scare on YouTube. There's so many creative tutorials out there that are drawing, photography, or writing. Take a master class. Learn something like cooking or storytelling. But spend 15 minutes a day of your life doing something fun where you'll be amazed at how much you can do with just your phone through curiosity versus just that constant scrolling. So again, just a quick checklist. Try a photo of the day or week challenge. Record a voice memo, journal, or a bedtime story. Doodle or color in digital art apps. Generate AI stories or poems. Make and share audio playlists. Create video messages, or even create your own mini podcast. So again, pick one of these creative things to do this week using your phone, something joyful, light, and just for you. Whether it's snapping that photo, coloring your screen, or writing a silly story, your phone can be more than a distraction. It can be your spark. So for more ideas, check us out. Reach out if you need some ideas, and I'm happy to support you. So stay curious, stay creative, and use your phone for more than just scrolling.
Wow. What a creative segment, Ms. Shelley Wolf.
Thanks.
Awesome. Fine job. So how do our listeners in Paul Ponders land contact you?
Yeah, if people want to know more, they can reach us at info@podproentertainment.com.
That is fabulous. That's fabulous. So we look forward to another segment next week. And until then, I want you to have a great week.
Thank you. You as well.
#Indeed.
#Imagine. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, Shelley. Appreciate that. Now, as Arthur Boyle says, it's not time to make the donuts. It's time to pay some bills. Let's hear from our sponsors, and we'll eventually hear from our latest returning sponsor, Crystal Clear Pools in Joe Kasner. South Street Diner, located at 178 Nealon Street, Boston, is Boston's only all-night dining destination, open 7 nights a week for late night eats. Yep, that's 24/7 in my book. Owner Saul Seidel has grown this former iconic Blue Diner to be the place to go for keeping the party going or filling your stomachs before you head home to the South Shore or the Cape and the Islands and listen to WATD along the way home. Ask Saul about his grandmother's banana bread recipe, the Boston cream pancakes, umpteen eggs Benny offerings, and tell him that Paul Ponders sent you. Attention WATD listeners, don't leave any money on the table. Call Performance Appraisal LLC and appraiser Arthur Boyle and Associates. Arthur may be reached at 781-293-6900 or Boyle6900 at AOL.com. Since 1994, Performance has developed many niche services ranging from appraising single-family homes to providing expert witness testimony. Again, call our own Arthur Boyle at 781-293-6900.
Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Benekeesit Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision. Happy to work for you. Have you tried Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that's steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryanttville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857.
A reminder from Crystal Clear Pools in Kingston. Pools can be fun and a relief from summer's heat, but they can also be a safety concern. Crystal Clear Pools offers safety tips including don't swim alone, don't dive into unfamiliar waters, have automatic locks on all gates and points of access, know where all your safety equipment is located and know how to use it, know where the nearest telephone is in case of emergency, and always keep your pool clean and sanitized. For other safety tips and quality pool products, stop by and see us on Route 27 in Kingston, Crystal Clear Pools, 781-585-7665. Be safe this season.
Paul Ponders continues on 95.9 WATD. Once again, Paul Solano.
We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. And I will say that the week was going well, but then it was going swimmingly well when Arthur Boyle called me up. Well, thank you. Very good. I thought I would dive into that one, Tim.
Oh
boy.
There's two.
There's two. There we go. 1-1. You got to think. They go 1-1. There we go. We're underwater here. But anyways, sorry.
Get the head above water.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Absolutely. We'll do some bobbing and weaving right now. But anyways, Joe Kasner, welcome back, and thanks for being one of our seasonal sponsors and all. And for our listeners out there, check out Crystal Clear Pools and Joe Kasner. Now, the call-in number for the Paul Ponders Show is 781-837-4900. And as I mentioned earlier, you could find us on the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. And my daughter Ann is listening from California. Hi, Ann. How you doing today? 3 hours away, but you're on the app and you're listening to Dad. And I want to give a shout-out to the nonprofits out there. If you have a chance, please email me at paul@paulponders.com, and I'm happy to, in fact, interview you and maybe give you a shout-out, give your nonprofit a shout-out, and with any events that you have coming up. Now, listeners can go to paulponders.com to find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders on WATD shows. Now, my next podcast is coming out, number 61, and that's going to be with Paul C. Swerter of Gotham Whale. I'm a fellow board member with Paul with PJ, and his dad is the founder of Gotham Whale. And it's a really great episode. It's going to be dropping at midnight on YouTube and then on Spotify, iHeartMedia, and other platforms at about 7 o'clock on Monday morning. But Paul Cisuerta Jr., PJ, was able to, in fact, just give us a great update as to what's happening on Gotham Whale, but also talk about Carvel Ice Cream, Fudgy the Whale, and also a tie-in with Kelly Ripa from the Kelly and Mark show. So more information on that, but you might as well check out the premiere of Paul Ponders, the episode with Paul Cisuerta and Gotham Whale at midnight tomorrow night on YouTube. Now, at this point in the program, we usually have the financial wing of Olympic Proportion with Olympian and former Bruin swinger Dave Jensen, Senior Loan Officer of Riverworks Credit Union. This week, Dave is at a charity golf tournament and just hanging out, so he's not able to, in fact, call in, but he sends his regards and all. But just getting back to my podcast, the Paul Ponders world would really not be possible if it wasn't for my producer. So I would like to, in fact, bring on the line, I believe he's there, Mr. Talonzo Amos, president of Pod Pro Entertainment. Techie Talonzo?
Good afternoon, Paul. How you doing, brother?
I am doing well, my friend. How are you?
I am doing equally well.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have to chuckle because your producer, you have two producers. You have a North Shore producer, which is Techie Talonzo, myself, and you have a South Shore producer, which is Tim Behind the Glass. And one day I look forward to meeting Tim behind the glass. But Tim asked, as I got on the line, he said, "So, Talonzo, where you calling in from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm just on the North Shore. I'm Malden. I am not the globe trotter like Ms. Shelley Wolf is. You're pretty much going to find me on the North Shore all the time, and in more particular, in Malden."
That is so true. It really is. But Shelley is, in fact, a globetrotter. She's been on 6 continents, you know?
Oh, yes.
That's amazing. It still blows my mind on that. So, Techie Talonzo, it really is a pleasure partnering with you with the Paul Ponders brand and all. And if you want to let I mention it, you have the segment, the Pod Pro Entertainment Techie Toolbox segment every week, and I thank you for that support. But tell us, how did Pod Pro Entertainment come to be, and who are some of your clients?
Well, before I get into that, I just want to give another shout-out to, an additional continued shout-out to Miss Shelley Wolf, because, you know, Paul, when you first got this Saturday morning gig, and I do listen quite often, the very first time that I was on, I was going into my basketball season where I coach basketball and also referee basketball. So I tagged in Shelley so Shelley can come on weekly with the tech tips. But then as she has been going on and on, I've been listening to the tech tips. I mean, Paul, I am a realist, and I know when I had got Wally pipped. So I had told Shelley, you know, I have been, you know, I'm Wally Pipp, you're Lou Gehrig, and after I explained it, I said, you know, this gig is yours. You do a fantastic job. You have a rapport with Paul and Tim Behind the Glass and everybody down there in Marshville on the South Shore. So, you know, why am I going to interrupt that flow? So once again, shout out to Ms. Shelley Wolf and to yourself, Paul, for continually bringing all these techie tips to your followers out there in Radio Land. Now, about Pod Pro Entertainment, yes, Pod Pro Entertainment is a network of podcasts for folks that just want to get their message out there. One of our hashtags is #TheNewRadio. So we have several clients, but the top clients that we do have, in addition to yourself, Paul Ponders, is that we have the career guru, Steve Yarnofsky, the career guru. He is the director of education at Boston Career Institute. And yeah, so he does a fantastic job with that. And then also one of our other clients is David Docangelo, who is a disability policy expert, and his podcast is Save as Ability.
I see. Well, that's great. And before we lose the thought, we'll mention again, but how do our listeners get in touch with you, or what website should they go to check out your fine offerings?
Well, PodProEntertainment.com is the online podcast network. If you can check us out there. But if you want to keep current with all the episodes coming out, and we have episodes coming out at least once a week between all the several podcasts there, you can go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is at PodProEntertainment.com. Once again, at PodProEntertainment.com is the YouTube channel. And if you could just like and subscribe, it helps the channel grow. It gets the information out there. And you will get the notification on weekly droppage of podcasts.
I see. So tell us about, we'll say, the Career Guru. What kind of podcast is it?
It basically, the Boston Career Institute is like a medical training school, and they have 3 campuses. They have a campus in Brookline, they have a campus in Malden, and they have a campus in Lowell, and they are days away, literally days away from opening up a 4th campus in Lynn, Massachusetts. So it is a very affordable tech school, trade school, I should say, a very affordable trade school, and they just recently got their accreditation, like we're talking a couple of weeks ago. These folks have been doing a fine job for 20 years plus, and they have serviced the community, and a lot of citizens have come through the doors, and some have come through looking for a career in medicine, and some have gone through to like change their career to medicine. Again, they do a fantastic job. I cannot say enough things about them. And Steve Yanofsky, he produces his podcast. It's a bi-weekly podcast. And sometimes he goes solo, and sometimes he has guests on it. And the guests on his podcast are always individuals that is in the medical field. So, great podcast. You should check it out if you haven't already. Again,
Absolutely.
The Career Guru.
Career Guru. Now, tell us about David D'Arcangelo and his Disability Voices show.
Yes, David D'Arcangelo. He Save as Ability. And what this podcast is, goes over disability employment issues. So a lot of us don't think about disability employment. So his podcast is just focusing on trying to bring awareness to, yes, we have segment of the population that is disabled. They have various ranges of disability. But we have to get all these folks inside the labor force, okay? It's like about 70% of folks that are in that category are not in the labor force, and that is, just a crime. And, there's a lot of talent in the disability community, a lot of untapped talent. And one of David D'Arcangelo's favorite phrases is that you cannot have a disability without first having an ability.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, very profound.
Yes. So David D'Arcangelo and Save as Ability is a weekly podcast. It comes out every Wednesday morning. And again, just like yourself, when you do your podcast, Paul, he has some solo episodes, and he has some episodes where he has guests, and he just has fantastic guests. And these are all folks that are knowledgeable in the disability community. And these are some folks that are actually in the disability community. So, yeah, it's a very fantastic podcast. He likes to do his podcast nice and pithy. The longest podcast he's ever had in terms of minutes was probably 17 minutes, and the shortest he has is probably like 4 minutes. He gets right to the point. His podcast average about 5 to 7 to 8 minutes. So it's like, you have a couple of minutes, you have 10 minutes to spare during your day, and we all can squeeze out 10 minutes in our day. I really encourage you to go and listen to Save as Ability. I've learned so much about disability employment issues because I can honestly say that I have never really thought about that. So, with his podcast, with your podcast, Paul, and with the Career Guru, the best thing on my part about being behind the scenes and recording these podcasts and editing them and putting them out there is that all the information that I receive, all the new things that I'm learning, so I'm constantly learning being behind the scenes with Pod Pro Entertainment, getting these podcasts out there. Hashtag the new radio.
Absolutely. And when we come back from our break, we'll be going to our commercial break to hear from our sponsors shortly. But I just want to maybe touch upon how easy it is, and you make it so easy just to, in fact, create a podcast and to make it happen. So when we come back from our commercial break, I want to hear, and hopefully our listeners in Paul Ponders land will be able to, in fact, reach out to you and maybe start their own podcast. How does that sound?
Sounds hashtag splendid.
Hashtag indeed. Let's hear from our sponsors. South Street Diner, located at 178 Nealon Street, Boston, is Boston's only all-night dining destination, open 7 nights a week for late-night eats. Yep, that's 24/7 in my book. Owner Saul Seidel has grown this former iconic Blue Diner to be the place to go for keeping the party going or filling your stomachs before you head home to the South Shore or the Cape and the Islands and listen to WATD along the way home. Ask Saul about his grandmother's banana bread recipe, the Boston cream pancakes, umpteen eggs Benny offerings, and tell him that Paul Ponders sent you. Attention WATD listeners, don't leave any money on the table. Call Performance Appraisal LLC and appraiser Arthur Boyle and Associates. Arthur may be reached at 781-293-6900 or Boyle6900 at AOL.com. Since 1994, Performance has developed many niche services ranging from appraising single-family homes to providing expert witness testimony. Again, call our own Arthur Boyle at 781-293-6900.
Have you tried Brian Phil Pizza Kitchen? From antipasto to baked ziti, specialty gourmet burgers, over 30 different kinds of pizza, and that steak and cheese. Come on in and they'll show you why they made a reputation as being the best steak and cheese sub in the area. There's nobody that puts it together like your friends at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Chicken wings and fingers and the famous flavors complement their stir-fry dinners. If subs and wraps aren't enough for your table tonight, expand into Greek and Caesar salads, maybe even a calzone. Anyway, it's all good at the Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. And don't forget, invite them to your next catered event. They'll bring the food. Bryantville Pizza Kitchen. Call them at 781-293-9857. Have you heard about Pembroke Collision? Price and quality don't often collide under the same roof. Not so at Pembroke Collision at 192 Manakesett Street in Pembroke. Pembroke Collision will work with you and your insurance company to get you back on the road in a safe and satisfactory vehicle. Put your trust in Ben Bastianelli and his crew at Pembroke Collision. Just call 781-293-4040 or find them on Facebook. Pembroke Collision, happy to work for you.
A reminder from Crystal Clear Pools in Kingston. Pools can be fun and a relief from summer's heat, but they can also be a safety concern. Crystal Clear Pools offers safety tips including don't swim alone, don't dive into unfamiliar waters, have automatic locks on all gates and points of access, know where all your safety equipment is located and know how to use it, know where the nearest telephone is in case of emergency, and always keep your pool clean and sanitized. For other safety tips and quality pool products, stop by and see us on Route 27 in Kingston, Crystal Clear Pools, 781-585-7665. Be safe this season.
You're listening to Paul Ponders on 95.9 WATD. And now, back to your host, Paul Solano.
We are back. Thank you so much, Tim. We are back, and thanks for listening to Paul Ponders on WATD. And again, the call-in number is 781-837-4900. And I also failed to mention that on the way down from the Malden Medford area, I was listening to Duncan and his antique show. Duncan Gray, I believe, Tim?
Yes, that is correct.
What a fabulous show. What a knowledgeable man, and his guest, I believe, Mr. Stanton, I believe.
Yes, Paul Stanton.
Just a fabulous show, and talking about the horse-pulled carts and all. And today is the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby.
Yes.
And it's a big day for mint juleps. So my staff, my bar staff at the Pearl Street Station restaurant is busily getting ready for a whole lot of mint juleps to be going out. And it should be a fine day. I don't know who the favorite is. I heard it's maybe journalism, but we'll see. We just have to check it out for post time at 6:57. But on the line, we still have Talonzo Amos, president of Pod Pro Entertainment. Techie Talonzo, how are you?
Oh, I am still doing hashtag Splendid, Paul.
Absolutely. Hashtag indeed. Absolutely. So when we first met about this, I've known you for years and all with your involvement in the Malden community and youth sports and all. We talked about this, and I know you are a true master at your craft. And you said, this is really not a very hard concept. Anyone could get this. And you showed me the way. And it's like, how does someone get involved with creating their own podcast?
Oh, it's very simple, Paul. So but the main thing you got to do is make sure that you have audio, that you have like nice and crisp audio, because if someone's tuning your podcast and the audio isn't up to snuff, they're just going to tune right out. I mean, like nice, clear audio. But all that saying that the easiest way to have a podcast out there is that it's formerly known as Anchor, but now it's known as Creators for Spotify.com. They make it real easy to sign up, have a account, and then you can even record your podcast into your cell phone or into any device that you have, and then follow the easy step directions to get it out there. That's the quick and easiest way to get a podcast out there. So what we do at Pod Pro Entertainment is that we kind of like work with you and walk with you through that process. So the process is very simple. It might not be as simple as I just described it, but it isn't much more difficult than that. So anybody out there can have a podcast. And as you know, Paul, once you get the podcast out there, how do people find your podcast? Well, the beautiful thing about social media and stuff, and we all have friends and partners on social media and things like that. Once your podcast is posted, just go on your social media and just blast it out there. Blast it out there.
Interesting. So you really don't need a brick and mortar studio. You're able to do it, it seems, from your phone or online?
Pod Pro Entertainment is a premium online platform. So anybody that has been on either the Paul Ponders podcast or Save As Ability or the Career Guru or Beyond the Rim, we haven't even talked about Beyond the Rim. I mean, Nesta Dudley might be saying, Talonzo, not show me any love. Beyond the Rim is our oldest client. Nesta haven't done a podcast in about a year, but I anticipate Nesta coming back and doing a podcast very shortly.
I love it. It's really great. Now, as far as the consistency, one of the things when we first met about this concept was that people like consistency, whether it's 1 week, it's 2 weeks, it's once a month, whatever the case may be. I know I'm in a every 2 week segment dropping, and we've been consistent. And as we come up on episode 61 on Sunday night, it's pretty cool.
61 Sunday night, where it's Paul Steveworther and Gotham Whale.
That's correct.
62 is going to be Scott Whitley, Wicked Bikes TV. That's dropping on May 19th. And, Paul, the latest podcast that we recorded the other night that's going to drop June 5th, that I actually finished editing before I entered your radio show, and that's with State Auditor Diana Vizoglio. And that podcast, Paul, as you know, was fantastic.
It really
cannot
was.
Wait for that podcast. I cannot wait for that podcast to drop.
Same here. It's it's going to be a great podcast, and I'm sure you did not have to do many edits on that at all. So we schedule these things out, and we also have enough in a reserve where if we do have to take a vacation day or something comes up, we do in fact keep the queue going.
Yes, we try to keep it going, and so we have podcasts, as you said, every 14 days, and we've been going on strong now, Paul, for going to be 63 episodes in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But this is well over a year, well over 2 years. I think we're just like a little bit
January.
over 2 years.
I believe it was like January 20th of 2023, I think.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, Paul, that these podcasts have been just so fun. And for your listeners out there, it's very easy to get a pot and be on the Paul Ponders podcast. Just email Paul at paulponders.com. And we record our podcast on Thursday evening, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. is actually the best time for Paul. It's actually the best time for myself. So if you're up at 9 p.m., and a lot of us are, and if you want to have a conversation that's going to last 20 to 25 minutes, why not have your voice heard on the hashtag New Radio Paul Ponders?
Without a doubt. And you're on the same consistent schedule, I believe, with your other clients as well?
Yes, as I said earlier, David Doc Angelo Save As Ability every Wednesday morning. And the Career Guru, much like yourself, Paul, he is every other week as well. And his episodes they basically drop the opposite week of the Paul Ponders.
Gotcha.
So we have between the three active podcasts and Nesta coming back home, and there is room for more podcasts. There's always at least one podcast dropping a week. So it's a minimum of 2 podcasts a week, because as I said, you drop every other day, so every 14 days. The Career Guru drops every 14 days, and Save As Ability every Wednesday.
That is consistency at its best, my friend. Now, I will say that Arthur Boyle was thinking of calling on, but he had a few things that he had to do around the household and all. But he sends his regards, and he remembers those days fondly in the Malden Neighborhood Basketball League. You're a longtime coach of the Lakers, and
I remember Arthur Boyle well. Yes, he was coaching with the Sixers along with Chuck Rogers. Both long time. Well, I know Arthur is a Pembroke resident, but they were both long time Malden residents. And my team, the Lakers, their team, the Sixers, we have had our battles over the years. And unfortunate for me, but fortunate for them, those Sixers have been getting the better of my Lakers for a very, very long time. And they actually beat us in a championship game. And I can't remember the year exactly, Paul. I want to say 1997 or 90, about 97, something like that. Again, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm kind of like getting all choked up, because you know what? That was a good team. We had them, but we just could not close them out.
Oh boy. What do you think of the Celtics? Are the Celtics going to make it to the ship?
The Celtics are going to make it to the ship, Paul. I really don't see the Knicks posing any of a threat. I'm going to respect the Knicks and all that, but the Knicks have lost. The Knicks have got swept by all of these teams that have better records than them and that are in the playoffs. So it doesn't look good for the Knicks. But I like the Celtics' chances. So let's go green.
Absolutely. And OKC doesn't worry you or concern you if it's them in the finals?
Doesn't concern me at all. Because we have Jason Tatum, we have Jaylen Brown, and in my opinion, Jaylen Brown is the dog. He shows up in the playoffs. Jason Tatum, best player on the team. I understand that, and I respect that. But with Tatum and Brown, it's just, you got to have like a 1-2 duo and all that stuff. So, and they're not, I call them both 1A and 1B. So, so it's not a 1-2, it's 1A, it's 1B. They're both, there is no Batman and Robin. There's Batman and Nightwing. And who is Nightwing? Nightwing is the original Robin, all grown up. So when Batman is not available, Nightwing can jump right in. Nightwing is not a sidekick. Nightwing is a leader. So Batman, Nightwing, Boston Celtics.
Wow. I love that. That's awesome. So, Techie Talonzo Amos, how do our listeners get in touch with you again?
What they can do is they can email us at info@podproentertainment.com. Once again, info@podproentertainment.com. And, Paul, I know we probably got 120 seconds left. I just want to take out 20 seconds to quote my favorite professional wrestler, Trey, the smooth operating gangster, Trey TSOG, who is a New England Pro Wrestler Hall of Famer, inducted in 2019. And he says, take no promotion like self-promotion. So I just want all the listeners out there to, again, follow the Career Guru, Paul Ponders, and save as ability. And you can find those podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and just really like, subscribe, share. That's how we get all the information out there. Please, I implore that. And Paul, thank you for having me a guest on your radio show.
You're quite welcome, my friend. And don't forget, Beyond the Rim with Nesta Dudley coming back soon.
How can I forget Nesta? My goodness, I think I'm in trouble.
Seriously. Hashtag indeed, Mr. Techie Talonzo.
Hashtag splendid.
Thank you. Well, I want you to stay tuned to WATD for the Memories with Ron Dwyer, the grand poobah of oldies rock and roll. Ron, you are a true leader of the pack with great musical memories of yesteryear. So thank you, Ron. Listeners can go to paulponders.com to find subscription links to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as finding past Paul Ponders and WATD shows. Thanks again to Tim, Arthur, and our advertisers, but really thank you, listeners in WATD world and beyond. Keep Paul pondering. Hashtag indeed.